Have you thought about starting a business in Montana? In this video, we're going to talk to the Director of Business Development for the state of Montana, and he's going to talk about all the different programs and all the benefits of starting a business in Montana. And I think you'll be surprised at how much help there is out there. And there's a reason that Montana is one of the top states in the nation to start a business. So let's check it out. Okay, like I talked about in our intro, we are here today with Frederick Van Den Abbeel, and he works for the state of Montana. And I've had a lot of questions, as I said earlier, about or from people that want to move here and start a business up here. And so we have the best guy for that, and I'll bring him on right now. Hello, Frederick.
Hi, Will. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming on. And could you give us a little bio of yourself and let us know who you are and what you do, and we'll start there.
Of course. Well, I first want to say thank you for this, and to your viewing audience. You're touching on one of my favorite subjects, Will. Get to talk about all things related to our great treasure state. Quick little bio on me. I was originally born in Brussels, Belgium, land of chocolate and beer. I came over to America with my mom and dad for business reasons, and I spent a lot of time growing up in Florida. And when I left university, I worked in the financial services and the financial technology field. I was selling a special type of software, if you will, to money managers, stockbrokers, and financial advisors. And won't you know it, during my days in fintech, some of my best clients were Montanans. So here was a Florida boy going up to the mountains at a fair often occurrence and falling in love. It's so easy to fall in love with Montana. I eventually left Florida, moved to California, where I'm based here in Silicon Valley. And we can talk about the genesis of how does a Californian go to represent the great state of Montana. But because of my prior business connections, I really got to know the state. I'm in fact building a second home in Montana as we speak. So I'm vested in Montana's success through and through.
Oh, great. So anyway, like I said in our intro, we're here to talk about jobs and businesses in Montana. I get a lot of questions from our viewers on, they'd like to come up here and start a business. And as you know, and as I've talked about on a lot of my videos, we're just, we need the help up here right now for all the trades and, pick a business. And there's a need for it in Montana right now.
Correct. We're seeing a tremendous amount of growth. There was recently the U.S. Census Bureau and U-Haul and Adelaide Moving and Van and Storage they prepare these annual migration trends. And Montana, from a percentage basis, was, I forget, either ranked number 2 or number 3 as the most active destination states where people are moving to.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean everybody knows that, and everybody, everybody that calls me, that's what they want to do, and I have had a few different calls now just recently about different small business owners, and that not only do they want to move up here, but they want to move their business here as well. So if you could go over a little bit what you guys do to help someone like that out, that would be great.
Certainly. I will tell you that job creators are celebrated and welcomed in this state. Over the past few years, there are some states haven't been able to support their business community, small and large, as well as the business owners would hope. We're very fortunate that with our new administration of Governor Greg Gianforte, he himself, a very successful Montanan, entrepreneur turned public servant, he wanted to create a vision of a business climate that welcomes businesses of all types, wants to reduce regulatory red tape to make it easier to do business, and with a vision that Montana wants to compete with the best of them, to be a very supportive state. Some states are really chasing very, very large corporations, but here in Montana, it's a little bit of all. I will tell you that a small business owner, whether he's bringing two, three, five jobs to a larger corporation, bringing 50 jobs or 100 jobs or more, they are all celebrated and welcomed. And I particularly have an affinity for small businesses because those are that's the back of America, small businesses. Without small businesses making the investments that they're taking and the risks that they do on a daily basis, we wouldn't be where we are today. And it's a lot of our programs and support cater very well to small business owners in terms of them relocating or expanding here.
Okay, could you go over some of the goals of your department there that you head up?
Sure. So the Business Attraction Department is a relatively new institution within state government, the genesis of which it's quite common to in private business to have business development officers promoting their product or service. Well, it's good to do that also to promote our great treasure state, right? Who's out there connecting with the business community in places in which it might be challenging to run a business. So, hence the reason I am in California. Uh, some have indicated it's not the easiest climate, and given the cost structure and other things to grow and scale a business. So those entrepreneurs are looking to planning a plan B, if you will. Is there a better home for them? And when the department was created in May, there were a number of goals attached to the new department, which I'll explain. Number one, all new entrepreneurs, the fundamental goal is that they respect the Montana way of life, the Montana lifestyle, and our culture. We don't want to be all things to all people all the time. We want to be all things to some people, in this case, some entrepreneurs for all the time. And I'm often asked, well, can you define that? What is this values check that I'm telling you about? Specifically, we're looking for entrepreneurs that value accessible leadership. It's not impossible here in this great state to get connected to the governor and also other leaders, including our federal delegation. You can get connected with the leaders that you need. That's belief number one. Number two, conservative business principles. We're looking for entrepreneurs who also value conservative business principles. Uh, Also, free markets. We're very much a capitalistic state. We believe in the free markets also, and fiscal responsibility, managing our budgets just as well as any small, medium, or large business does. Want to be very prudent in that area. Also, entrepreneurs who value limited government, right? Government can't be all things to all people. We want to get government out of the way so entrepreneurs can do their best work in an environment that has lower taxes. I know in this past legislative year, Montana has reduced their taxes, and the trajectory is they'll go even further. Less regulation. Again, so often people are coming to Montana because the regulation that they have to deal with where they're coming from might be too burdensome, particularly for a small business. You don't necessarily have a team of lawyers and compliance people to handle all the red tape and that other states might have. And finally, and I leave with small town values, right? Montana is one giant main street, but there's something to be said about small town values. People who actually care about other people, a sense of real belonging and community. So, for the entrepreneurs on the line, if those are the types of traits that resonate with them, then Montana could very well be a great choice.
That's that you covered a lot of ground right there. So what type? One of the questions I got from a few different people was, are there any type of financial or support type programs or grants or whatever you want to call them to help get new businesses here to provide more jobs for people?
There certainly are, ranging for grants for micro and small businesses all the way up to larger corporations. I'll give you a few examples, probably with the most recent that was passed in 2021, the Entrepreneur Magnet Act. So what is that? So sometimes businesses, they have obviously stock in their own corporation or LLC, and the owners or some key employees might one day exercise that stock. They might sell it. They might take on an investor. They might one day become public or what have you. Uh, well, we're going to exempt the exercise of that stock from any state capital gains. That's a huge incentive and applies to all businesses. Number two, there is a new Job Growth Incentive Act providing some state dollars to incentivize job creation, which would further reduce business owners' tax liability in the state. But it's not just on the tax front. Last year also introduced some new apprenticeship programs and workforce training. So helping that business owner, they've got some key employees or some new employees that they'd like to upskill, but they need some help from the state in order to invest in their people. And I will tell you, the best people on earth are Montanans. And you give Montanans a great curriculum, a great workforce program tied in with a good community college, for example, and the sky's the limit. So there are programs to help invest in their own people. And broadly speaking, what also happened last year is I think it was the governor's first executive order, a red tape relief fund. Top down review, are there any red tape items that need to be reduced or eliminated to make it even easier for a business owner in Montana to flourish?
That I think everybody that's out there right now is going to love everything you said right there. So if kind of going back to something you said earlier, that ties into this as well, and it doesn't apply to everybody. You were saying it, some people, and but the people that are originally from Montana, don't you guys have a website or something to get those people back to Montana? People that have possibly left for greener pastures, let's say.
Yep. So there's some background to that. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that over the past several decades, possibly, Montana's greatest export had been agriculture, cattle, and our kids. And we're looking to reverse that trend. And why did the kids leave? Well, because the kids, Montanans are a special breed of people. They don't want to settle for just second best. They want careers that are fulfilling. And in the past, to find those rewarding careers, they had to leave our great state. So now that this whole notion of being able to work remotely, it opened up the doors for former Montanans to consider coming back home. So with the leadership of the governor and other agency leaders, they introduced a Come Home Montana campaign. It's a great website to begin the education process about opportunities in Montana, whether someone is looking for a certain career, they're looking for schooling, they want some information with your help on communities. It's a way to begin to open that door to welcome former Montanans back. And the website is now also offering some testimonials, some now current Montanans who were former, talking about why they came back. And a lot of it has to do with not only the business climate, but I don't want to undermine the community feel of Montana as well. So Come Home Montana has been very successful. We are continuing to promote it outside of Montana.
That's great. Do you have any good stories, and it doesn't have to be through this, but just of recent people that have moved to Montana that you've helped out as far as they started a new business here and now they're booming?
So I will tell you about my very first project since the Business Attraction Department was formed. It was an ag tech company relocating out of California called Sustaina, and they're based in Missoula. And the gentleman, the business owner, couldn't wait to find greener pastures. He was looking for lower labor costs, more value for his money. Also, he firmly believed in a sense of place, right? And what really excited me about that project, while his core operation was in Missoula, he was opening his career opportunities remotely for some portions of his company statewide. So here we have, based in Missoula, so Western Montana, but opening up career possibilities also in Eastern Montana, which I never want to discount. Montana is very special both on the Western and Eastern side. And to find opportunities to employ Eastern Montanans or people who want to move to that region of the state, outstanding. It's what I call a combo hit run. You might be based in one of our larger cities, but with technology today, you're providing career opportunities statewide.
Yeah, that's great. So how would you just, I mean, if somebody's thinking of moving, let's say, to just this part of the country, how does Montana stand out compared to our, neighboring states as far as job development and what you guys can do?
Certainly. So every year we are reviewed by an organization called the Tax Foundation for our state business climate. Of all 50 great American states, I will tell you that Montana scored in the top 5 for the best state business tax climate. That's one study that we are scoring very, very well. There was another study that the Department of Labor had done within Montana. A lot of businesses, when they're coming to Montana, they want to know that Montanans have a lot of strong work ethic, right? Businesses want to employ people that are going to stick around, that are committed to the mission of that business. And compared to our surrounding states, there was less staff turnover here in Montana, according to this Labor Department study, than some of our neighbors. So when you hire a Montanan, they're dedicated to the mission at hand and they tend to stick around.
So if somebody is out there right now and they're, if they decided they want to move to Montana, how do they go about it? I have some info at the bottom of the page right now with another website that goes to your department and a phone number. Talk about the next step, or the step that somebody should take at this point if they are thinking about coming here and uh, getting their business going.
So one of the best services that we offer, it's what I call the road to Montana. So it's we customize and cater an agenda for that business owner. So for example, maybe they need help searching for commercial real estate. Our agency can help find those commercial real estate opportunities. Uh, Perhaps another need is they need to understand what the local community college or university might be offering. Maybe they're looking for future graduates to have certain skills. So we introduce them to educational partners. If they're a manufacturer, for example, within state government, we have the Montana Manufacturing Extension Center. It's a sister group that helps manufacturers become more lean and efficient. Maybe as part of their corporate trip to Montana, they need to meet with some in government leadership. That's also encouraged. So it's a soup to nuts tour, customized for the needs of that business agenda. This is not a cookie cutter type tour. Customized to what's relevant to their business. And I would encourage any business owner who's looking at Montana to take me up on that offer to help plan their site visit.
So you want them to, do they go to that website and is there a sign up sheet, or do they call that number?
They call that number, and then it begins that process. I understand what's important to them. What type of business are they running? Are there certain challenges that they're trying to overcome from their prior states? What's important to them? Who are their customers? Are they looking for customers? Uh, so it really is customized to their specific needs.
All right, and then one last thing, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but is there anything that, I mean, you're in the government. Is there anything that you know of that is coming down the pipe that is exciting, or is going to help out different businesses or people coming here?
Well, there is. Uh, if I may, I'd like to talk about another solution that some business owners might love to hear that is already on the books, but maybe not as popular or not as known.
Sure.
So some businesses in other states, they have to get what's called an occupational license from their former state. A lot of people dread about moving to a new state because they wonder what's going to happen to their occupational license. Do they have to go through all of the retesting all over again, as if when you bring your 20 years of experience, you lose all of that experience just because you cross state lines? There was a law passed just about a year or two ago called Universal Occupational License Recognition. So if you're coming to Montana and you have an occupational license, you don't have to go through all of the hoopla and red tape to get relicensed in Montana. And to my knowledge, Montana was one of the first, if not the first, state to offer that in the country.
That's great. So, like an electrician, for example, that's moving here from Florida or Texas or where, they can just come up here and get to work. Is that correct?
That they would still need to apply with the relevant board, which they needs to verify their experience and that they have a good record from the prior state. I'm not an expert in all of the nuances, but I can tell you, Will, the roadblocks have been reduced to make that a lot easier transition for that prospective electrician.
All right, Frederick. Well, is there anything else you'd like to go over that we may have missed, or anything you'd like to tell all the viewers out there?
Well, I would say thank you for considering the great treasure state. I will tell you, business owners are welcomed in the state with open arms. We truly do care. We try to help to every extent that we can. You're going to be celebrated here. There was a business owner, you were talking about an example. I've had business owners who were just bringing, whether 4 or 5 jobs, and they said that they wouldn't even get the time or day from their prior state. But here, that is celebrated through and through. So I just want to tell everyone that if you come, you're going to be treated with the dignity and respect that you need as an entrepreneur, because you are the backbone of this state and this country.
Well, great. Well, I put your personal email up there, and then we have the website and the phone number. So if anybody needs to get a hold of you or your office, that is the contact info there. And as Frederick said, he'd be happy to help. And with that, I want to thank you for coming on. This is a huge treat, and I'm honored to have you on and to have somebody from the state talk about how great the state is.
Thank you, Will, and thank you to your viewing audience. I'll do anything I can to help.
All right, thanks.
Take care.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.